welcome to Robot Wars Reborn Season 1. This competition will take all 40 Robot Wars Reborn appearees and place them against each other in one kick-ass tournament. We've got all kinds of great competitors, champions, powerhouses, and Gabriel. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get it started. So, to get talking about the format and Heat A, let's send it over to Desk Barangoat. Thank you, Robot Barangoat. Pleasure to be here, and as you can see, I'm using a very oversized mic as opposed to what John Pierce used during these kind of shots, but this is all I got, so we're going to have to make do. Of course, we're going with Heat A today because it is the first heat, and it's a very loaded heat. We've got all kinds of big names like former champions Chaos 2, Apollo, and Panic Attack, and then we also have some of the powerhouses that have never won a title yet, like Hypno-Disc and Pulsar. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get started. So, shall we get started? I think we should get started. Okay, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is Heat A, and it is quite definitely the heat of death this year of the 5. There are 5 champions and 2 powerhouses in Hypno-Disc and Pulsar. So, a lot of talent, a lot of experience, and a lot of trophies in this heat. It is going to be very difficult for one of these bots to prevail, and for a lot of these bots who were hoping to get to the grand final, well, their tournament will end probably a lot earlier than they expected. So it's time to go down to the first fight. It's X-Terminator versus Chaos 2.
From Belmont, X-Terminator.
Originally sporting a plow in the front, he now has a spike that might make it a little more difficult to protect himself. He now has working Tremax from when he first appeared, and he's got that ice pick on the top for his weaponry. A very exciting robot, but is he going to be in trouble based off the draw he was given?
From Ramford, Ipswich, Chaos 2.
Currently the only 2-time champion in Robot Wars history, Chaos 2 sports a very powerful flipper which has 3 parts and is powered by 3 DDT burst motors, but the drive is a little bit slow. Is that going to cost him in any of his fights? Only time will tell.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
And let Robot Wars Reborn Cup begin, with X-Terminator and Chaos 2 feeling each other out as the tournament has now just begun, and it's an early flip from Chaos 2, the only 2-time champion in Robot Wars history. He'd be very happy to add a Reborn Cup to his title, as X-Terminator struggling to cope with the very, very low flipper, which is exposing his very high ground clearance. X-Terminator backing into one of the angle grinders. I'd say Chaos 2 is on the chase, but it's not really a fast chase. But that's a very powerful flip from Chaos 2, who then flips himself. Alright, both robots showing a little signs of nervousness, being that they are debuting the series. X-Terminator with a few shots on Chaos 2 before another powerful thrust there from George Francis's machine. X-Terminator trying to get to the side of Chaos 2, both bots near the pits release button, and there's a flip from Chaos 2. X-Terminator deploying the pit. The pit of oblivion is now open. Will we see our first use of it in this fight, or will we be made to wait? X-Terminator charging, caught again with another flip. Trying to self-right and struggling, apparently. As Chaos 2 moves in, I think he wants to get him outside of the arena with one powerful flip. There he goes. So far, it's been about 90% Chaos 2, and he is well in control of this match. There's another lift, as it looks like the batteries are starting to struggle. They're not as powerful, these flips. X-Terminator trying to charge again, and lift it up. Chaos 2 really slow with his drive, but he can fire that flipper fairly quickly, and when he does, it's deadly. He's proven so again with another toss of X-Terminator, and there's another. Less than a minute left in the fight, and it looks like X-Terminator is struggling to get back. Is it the spike in front causing him issues? Thrown to the drop zone, but he escapes. Chaos 2 is just having fun with this.
letting X-Terminator ride himself back onto his wheel so he can get one last flip. He's been well in control since the start. There's another beautiful toss. And we've come down to 10 seconds remaining. And Chaos 2, with the performance of a two-time champion, clearly going through to the next round. Well done to them. X-Terminator, see you next year. And so we have our first casualty of this season. Commiserations to X-Terminator. It'll be Chaos 2 going through the next round. And now we got to see who he will face. It'll either be the forward flipper Mute or the wedge of Tornado.
From Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire, Mute.
Originally built by the Barangoat, but then replaced by Doodle, he's got component freedom to make up his weaponry and to get a lot of batteries in there. Very powerful, very fast, very low to the ground. What weaknesses does his Mute machine have?
From Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire, Tornado.
One of the most hated robots in Robot Wars on this channel. Tornado is built by the Barangoat off of a thread of length design. He's got the wedge out of ram plates. I don't know how quick he is. He is invertible, but not the wedge, so he's going to have to be very careful in this match.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Both bots staring at each other very aggressively, ready to put on a show for the fans and to keep their hopes alive for winning a title here. Tornado already knows what that's like. Mute does not. And wouldn't you know, the pit release already activated. Mute spending more time trying to self-right than he has on his wheels. Tornado trying to back him into a corner, and then he's rolled over Mute there, who once again needing the self-right. Is Mute even in control of himself? It's hard to tell at the moment. Tornado trying to get himself back right side up so that he can use that wedge. As you can see, he's currently flipped over, so the wedge completely useless. Mute, the recreation of Doodle. Not necessarily that the Barangoat's version was bad, but oh! And there goes the floor flipper deploying, cutting me off very rudely. I think both bots are unscathed though from it. Mute seems like he's more powerful, too powerful perhaps. Tornado trying to shove him onto the floor flipper. Still inverted, he hasn't been able to get the flip that he needs to make his weapon more useful. Was the wedge even the right choice? They could have gone in with the vertical spinner. They thought maybe they could win the pushing and shoving match. Well, they can't do it while they're flipped like this. The only solace for them is the fact that Mute has been really out of control. Tornado smoking apparently. Something is damaged. And Tornado's trying to use the floor flipper to flip himself back since Mute doesn't seem like he's in control at all. He's flipped himself yet again. Tornado really struggling though. Smoke pouring out of the front of him. Mute trying to go in and get a useful shot. We've got a minute left in this fight. It's been very smart from Mute. Maybe he's been trying to not flip Tornado. He's got another shot. There it is. But Tornado's in trouble. He's getting a lot of damage. Oh, and he's been knocked out.
Cease.
Unbelievable. And our second bot of the tournament has been eliminated. Thank you for coming, Tornado, but you have been knocked out by Mute, who seemed like more of a hammer bot than a front hinge flipper. Tornado, we'll see you next year, and viewers, we will see you right after this. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Robot Wars Reborn Cup Series 1. We are halfway through the first round in Heat A, where we have seen X-Terminator and Tornado fall in their very first matchup. And two more bots are going to follow the same path. Will it be Hypno-Disc, Apollo, Panic Attack, or Pulsar? Well, why don't we go find out with Hypno-Disc versus Apollo right now.
From Middleton Cheney, Hypno-Disc.
One of the greatest bots in Robot Wars never to win the title, Hypno-Disc always fell one step short. He won't be hoping for the same in Reborn Cup, but he's been given a tough task against Apollo. How will that horizontal spinner hold up?
From Birmingham, Apollo.
Apollo is a build of doodles. He's actually built a new version of this robot to replace the original one that went unbeaten in his recording episode, taking 4th place in the Unbeaten Cup. He'll be hoping for a Reborn Cup title to regain some of the credibility he lost in that tournament.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Time to put this new Apollo version to the test. Don't know how much of a test Hypno-Disc will be. He's got a very high ground clearance that should be easy for Apollo to exploit. You also got to be careful of that very deadly blade, but he goes head on at Hypno-Disc and a very early flip to quell some of the nerves, and a second one follows immediately as Hypno-Disc gets backed into one of the corner patrol zones. Luckily, no house robots this tournament, maybe in the future. Apollo, in complete control at the moment, doesn't even need the help of one of the house robots. Completely abusing Hypno-Disc with yet another flip. And again, he's over onto the flame pit there. Well, this is what we feared when the heat draw was first completed. Hypno-Disc tossed around like a ragdoll over and over. Apollo flipping himself, giving a chance for Hypno-Disc to move in and get a shot, but he couldn't get over there in time. Apollo looking very strong so far, one of the favorites to win this title. And he's proving that he has what it takes with this performance so far. It's been essentially flawless. As he tries to guide Hypno-Disc towards one of the arena walls for an outside of the arena flip, and another powerful thrust there. Hypno-Disc spending more time on his back than Warhead did against Stinger in BattleBots ABC Season 1. Apollo again getting under Hypno-Disc with ease. Doesn't even look like he's suffering too much damage. Well in control of this fight. Beautiful flip there yet again. Hypno-Disc close to the arena wall, and he's flipped yet again. Can he get away, or is he going to get flipped out? Apollo trying to push him, and he's teetering over the wall. Nearly there. And it looks like Hypno-Disc has survived. Or has he? Is he caught on the arena wall? It looks like the Shremek has caught the arena wall. It has! Well, that's a very unorthodox way to win, but I don't think Apollo will mind. He's in the next round. Well, Hypno-Disc will not be happy. They never go out this early in a tournament, usually in a grand final playoff, but they'll have to settle for a first round defeat and come back next year for glory. And now we go to the final fight of the first round, Panic Attack taking on Pulsar right now.
From Thornhill, Panic Attack.
Champion of Robot Wars in Real Life Series 2, first unbeaten recreate on the channel. The name Panic Attack carries a lot of weight with it, and Threat of Link's new rebuild carries a lot of weight too. Let's see if he meets up to the expectations.
From Shropshire, Pulsar.
Only drum spinner in this competition, Pulsar is the 6th unbeaten Robot Wars robot. He's got a very powerful drum spinner, but he's so small and lightweight that it might not matter if he's getting pushed around by bigger bots.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Will it be youth or experience that claims the final spot? In the second round of Heat A, Pulsar trying to get an attack on Panic Attack, who's underneath him, flipping him. Pulsar pinned on his backside. Is he gonna be out already? Panic Attack trying to edge him close to the pit. Pulsar now trying to stop and start that drum to get himself back, which he does. But it looks like the weight is certainly a problem as Panic Attack is getting him closer to the pit, which he has deployed. He's on the edge, and all he needs to do is shove him in, but Pulsar's shaking and slipping and slithering away. Well, he's still alive, but for how much longer? He hasn't been able to get underneath the skirts of Panic Attack to get to those wheels and cause any damage. Panic Attack, very sturdy. So close to the ground, Pulsar cannot do a thing. We said that Thread of Link's version of the Series 2 champion had a lot to live up to. It was the first unbeaten robot on the channel, and it looks like it's going to get a good win here to start off its Heat campaign. And there goes Pulsar, edging closer and into the pit. It's over.
Cease.
And the veteran has done it. Kind of funny, before the Heat draw was done, I thought Pulsar was going to be a force to be reckoned with in this tournament, but the draw was not kind to him. He is out in the first round to Panic Attack, and we are down to 4 bots left in this Heat. Only 2 will survive the next round to go to the Heat final, and we'll find that out when we return. Don't go anywhere.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Robot Wars Reborn Cup Season 1 Heat A. We have gone through the first round and already had some very interesting and surprising results. It's only going to get better when we find out which 2 robots will contest Episode 6 Heat A Final. So, let's go back to Office Desk Barangoat for the next round of fights. Thank you, Steroid Barangoat. We are now into the second round of Heat A, and of the 14 flippers in this competition, wouldn't you know it, 4 in Heat A, and they've all made it to this round. So we at least know that we are going to have a flipper win the Heat. We just don't know what kind of flipper and which flipper it is, because we do have one front hinge flipper in Mute. But it'll be very fun to see how he does against Chaos 2, and of course in the other matchup, Panic Attack against Apollo, 2 champions. Of course, 3 of these robots are former Robot Wars champions, so it'll be very fun to see what happens.
And just one last reminder of what it looks like right now in Heat A, Chaos 2, Mute, Apollo, and Panic Attack. 2 of these robots will advance to the Heat Final, which will be contested in Episode 6. And now we go down to the box to find out who the first Heat finalist will be.
Chaos 2. Mute.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
This for a place in the Heat Final. Chaos 2 versus Mute, and Mute with the first flip of the match, and already on top of Chaos 2, shoving him towards the wall. And what's happened here? The fight's been stopped for some reason. We're gonna have to take a second look at this. Mute was on the attack. Chaos 2 was up against the wall. Did the ref think Chaos 2 was flipped out? Well, he must have, but he was not even close. They're going to have to reset the bots and go again from scratch. Shame for Mute, he was on top.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Okay, you 2, let's take it from the top. After some controversy. Don't really know what happened there, but I do know what happened there. Chaos 2 with a flip on Mute, and again. And this will really irritate Mute, who had started the brighter in the first 10 seconds of the exchange when the fight was stopped earlier. But now it's Chaos 2 with a bright start, and perhaps a second wind, a second chance. Will he be able to take it? Mute with a misflip as matched by Chaos 2. Both bots near the drop zone. Mute's got to get away from there, and he does. Mute riding up the front on Chaos 2, and there's a flip. Very nicely done by the 2-time champ, but then he's caught by Mute, and he's flipped over, and he's struggling to get back onto his wheels. Mute taking advantage with some big shots. Another huge shot. This is where Mute's build is what helps him. That front hinge flipper practically becoming a hammer. And he's caused all kinds of damage to Chaos 2, but he's flipped himself again. Both bots on top of the pit of Oblivion, which is not deployed yet. Will it be later in this match? We'll find out. Mute is back on his wheels, trying to have a go at Chaos 2 with a big shot, and Chaos 2 is in trouble. He's gone to the pit for help. It is now deployed. And now Chaos 2 will look to lure Mute over. Mute backing away though, he's not having any of it. This fight is his to win as long as he's smart. He just needs another good shot. And Chaos 2 will be out. He's flipped himself. Chaos 2 trying to move in for the kill. Opportunity missed. And they patiently wait again. As Chaos 2 tries to attack.
Cease.
And he's caught cold by Mute, who knocks him out. And another real-life champion is out of this competition. Chaos 2 falling in his second match. Congratulations, though, to Mute. You are in the Heat Final, where you will now await your opponent. It's either going to be Apollo, or it's going to be Panic Attack. Can he handle either of them? Possibly. But we have to find out who he's going to face. So let's get down to the box to see who will win our final match of the night.
Roboteers, stand by.
This for a place in the Heat Final.
3, 2, 1, activate.
The winner and the prize for this machine that comes out alive, Mute in the Heat Final of Heat A, and Apollo with a huge flip already on Panic Attack, getting the first chance there and taking full advantage of it. Both bots with a very low ground clearance, so it's gonna really have to be a good performance from one machine. It's another flip there from Apollo as he takes a 2-0 lead. Panic Attack, he's struggling to self-right. He's got the Shremek, it's just not fully working. Inching across the box. Apollo trying to decide what he wants to do. Oh, and Panic Attack flips himself back. Well, it only took about 20 attempts, but Panic Attack is back on his wheels and able to fight again. Contemplating the pit release button. Apollo backs him into the corner of the CPZ there. Of course, unoccupied. Both bots, for the most part, struggling to gain an advantage. Apollo has gotten a little bit of one. These types of bots with the low ground clearance is one of the best things a machine can have, because if you can't get caught from underneath, then you're at least on your wheels, able to control yourself a little bit. Apollo with another flip. And Panic Attack falling behind on points as we reach the midway point of this match. But Panic Attack now under Apollo after he lost control. The Birmingham Beast, though, is able to get back onto his wheels. Panic Attack has hit the pit release. Could it be what saves him in this match? Because he's, for about the whole time, been very much out of it. Both bots trying to get something, trying to gain purchase, teetering with the flames. Apollo getting close to the pit there. He's not gonna want to lose by those means, nearly driving it himself. Panic Attack on the charge. It does look like Apollo is doing a better job, though, of exposing what little ground clearance there is to expose. He hasn't gotten the flips always. He's been flipped there by Panic Attack. This is his opportunity, and he needs to take advantage of it with only 30 seconds left in the fight. Apollo just playing defense. I think he's done enough offense that he's going to win this. Panic Attack trying again. Time is running out for him. Gotta think he's behind on points. Hasn't really gotten a big lift. And Apollo's gotten some huge flips. Oh, and there's a big shot, though, from Panic Attack. Apollo needs to survive. It looks like he's going to. He apparently took a lot of damage. This fight, though, is going to the judges. And that judge's decision is in. Of course, the judges looking at this fight based on style, control, damage, and aggression. And they've made the determination that Apollo had controlled the fight, and it is he who is advancing to the Heat Final to take on Mute. Commiserations to Panic Attack. He fought very well, but just couldn't get the flips he needed. Apollo is through. Doodle has a bot in the grand final regardless of who wins. It'll be Mute and Apollo in episode 6 for Heat A's winner.
It's been a wonderful first episode of Robot Wars Reborn Cup Series 1, and congratulations to Doodle because you will have one of your recreations in the grand final. But we won't know if it's Mute or Apollo until the Heat Final episode 6. Thank you for watching, everyone. I am the Stairwell Barangoat, and have a good night.